Okay, are we ready? You're back. Good. Okay, so today's playlist is Saturday Long and Luxurious. And we'll get started at a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and you can press your buttons. Okay, so we're starting on our backs today, and we're having a class this morning. We haven't really slowed down, and we're heading towards the holiday season. It's time to do a little bit of halting, because we're going to be doing that. As we all know, we're doing it anyhow now with all of the, coming home, doing very little, and then trying to work and doing very little, etc., etc. Here's an opportunity to kind of explore what goes on in your mind when you have to stay somewhere you don't want to be, or you want to be, but you want to do other things. Yikes. Let's get started on our backs. So make sure you've got some kind of tie. And find the ground. And you can come into constructive rest, which your feet are apart, your knees are together, your arms are wide, your shoulders drop down to the floor. Actually, the entire weight of the body just starts to settle. And you can start to feel the sides of the body kind of drop down to the floor. You can feel the sides of the arms, sides of the legs drop down. Notice how when you attach your awareness to the breath, then you can also start to feel the physical effects of that dropping down as you exhale. And just do a few more like that, letting the body settle. So if you want here, with your arms spread apart and you're taking that breath a little deeper than you usually do because your awareness is connected to it, what else can you kind of release as you exhale? You feel the physical body release. What other things can you start to let go of? And then as you inhale, what can you increase as you inhale? What kind of power can you draw in through your nose, that life force energy? What can it help you ignite? Okay, let's start to just wiggle the legs a little bit from side to side. You can look over your opposite shoulders, the knees drop to one side, and then just switch to the second position. Do this a few times, just warming up the spine. Really try to move fluidly with your breath. And then as we come back through center, let's grab hold of that right leg as we inch the left foot back to the midline. We'll draw that right knee in. Just notice what's there, what's in that hip as you draw the knee in. If it feels okay to start to slide that left leg straight, you can do that. But if it's too early, then keep the knee bent, it's fine. Just start to rock that right leg a little bit back and forth. Now as you inhale, we're going to take that right leg out to the right, and you can drop the right elbow to the floor so that the leg has a little bit of support. And imagine yourself drawing that right knee up towards the right underarm as you plant the left foot into the imaginary floor. You can take your left arm out to the left if you want, and just imagine yourself standing. Feel the right buttock tuck under a little bit more. Feel the inner right thigh open up a little more as that buttocks tucks under. Excellent. Let's draw that knee back through center, hug it in. And just hold on to it with the left knee now, taking the right leg down. We'll start to roll our right buttock off the floor as we start to move into a bit of a twist. And it doesn't have to be deep, and you certainly don't have to drop the right knee to the floor. Just keep it up and moving away as you reach out again through that left leg, imagining that you're standing. Can you feel the breath moving into the back now, even into the spots where it feels twisted? Beautiful. Come back through center. I'm going to grab hold of that right thigh, slide the tie around that foot. Wrap the tie around your arm so that you can keep the elbows, the arms soft and relaxed, and press out to the heel. Here, let's start to play with the outer right hip. So draw the outer right hip up towards the underarm, and then draw back down towards the left heel. You can start to slide it out a little bit, notice what that feels like, but really where we're looking to find comfort is drawing that right outer hip down towards that left heel again, and we'll stay for a moment or two. Keep pressing the hands down into the floor, drawing that heel down deeper into the hip socket. Notice that sensation. Beautiful. Now we're going to take that tie, and you can wrap it around the outside of that right leg as we take the leg out again to the right, a little bit more challenging this time. Now if you find this super easy and you want to go a little harder, you can grab hold of that big toe and imagine yourself standing here. Be mindful again of that right outer hip drawing down towards the left inner heel. Okay. One last breath here. I'm going to lift that leg up and take it all the way over to the left, but take the tie wrap around the inside. Hold on to the tie on the outside of the leg, and this time you can roll yourself a little bit more. See how it feels. If you're ready, that foot can start to come towards the floor. If not, then you're holding on to the tie. You can gauge it. Find a spot that works for you and stay. Feel the breath moving through. Feel the difference in your breath because it's all twisted now. Excellent. And then we're going to pull on that tie to lift our leg back up. And you can start to walk your hands up the tie, pressing the low back into the floor, feeling the outer hips hug towards each other. And instead of forcing the head up, think of the heart lifting up towards the toes. Feel the shoulders relax, facial features soft. Is it possible to start to lower the shoulders back down towards the floor? Big stretch through that hamstring. Look at your foot. Foot should still be parallel, so don't have the pinky toe up higher than the big toe. Excellent. From here, we're going to release that tie, and we'll draw that right knee into the chest. And you may notice now as you draw it in, sensation around the hips are much softer, and the leg comes so much closer. It's so cool that after only, 5 minutes, we get such a dramatic effect. So let's release that foot to the floor. And we'll slide it all the way straight just for a moment to notice. Amazing difference. We'll start to slide the left leg up. Now, we're starting from the beginning on the second side. So if you started with the left knee bent, start with the right knee bent. Draw that leg in. You can move around a little bit. So it's like starting over, or just again coming back to the beginning, not even starting over, just come back, forget everything we did on the first side. This is completely new leg, completely new sensations. Right? If it feels okay to straighten that right leg, go for it. If it doesn't, then don't. I'm going to take that leg now and just draw it out to the side. Elbow can come to the floor. So you're holding that leg up. I'm actually holding the knee, drawing it in, and then dropping the elbow down. So there's a lot of still action in that left leg. And then I'm reaching the right arm out as I imagine myself standing here. Breathe. So again, you can play here a little bit with that outer hip, dropping the outer hip down towards the inner heel, drawing it up towards the shoulder. Exploring this movement, exploring the sensations that we feel in our backs. Not offering judgment unless it hurts, and then staying away from what hurts, just like, any sane person would do. We don't keep going back into areas that hurt us, or perhaps we do, and that's something we should be exploring. All right, coming back through center, we're going to take the right hand to the left knee, and a nice little simple opening up, just resting the right elbow on the floor, letting the hand hold the knee, and then feeling a little twist, reaching out through that right leg, lengthening up through the crown of the head. Breathe. Excellent. All right, coming back through center, we're going to grab hold of that tie. Place the tie around the foot. Lift it up. And as we just take a moment here, feeling that thigh bone sink into the hip socket. Taking a moment to feel what it would feel like here to be standing in this position. You can wrap your hands around the tie, let the hands hang, or hang on the floor, rest on the floor, excuse me. So that leg really does just drop deeper into that hip socket. Notice also that the heel is over the hip, it's not coming forward. I'm going to take the tie now, wrap it around the outside of that left leg. Hold on from the inside. The elbow rests on the floor, and then you can just keep reaching that leg out. Imagine again, you're standing, lengthen up through the crown of the head, breathe. Excellent, one more breath here. And then we'll come all the way back up. I'm going to take that tie, wrap it around the inside of the leg. And this time we can drop that foot over because we've got some support now. It doesn't have to come all the way to the floor. It's certainly not going to for me, but it's comfortable because I've got the tie, so it's just hanging. And then I'm hanging in this pose, feeling how it's changed my breath, and noticing if there are areas because of the change that can get into that back and feel good. Excellent. Pulling on that tie again to roll the leg back up. Release, and we're going to start to lift our head off the floor. Our heart is coming up towards our foot, not our forehead towards the knee. So lengthen, press that low back into the floor, reach, breathe. And start to walk your hands up the tie. Keep reaching out through that right foot. Imagine you're standing. And then see if you can slowly start to bring your head and your shoulders back down towards the mat. Press that low back into the floor here. Breathe 2 more breaths into this highly intensified hamstring stretch. Beautiful. All right, so we'll release the tie now. Place it out to the side. Draw the knee into the chest. And again, just notice so much deeper that knee can go now. So much more comfortable. So we take a moment, bringing both legs up and just kind of wobbling them around a little bit to make them feel, loose and fluid. And then we'll take our legs up and we can roll up to seated. And let's come up into to the front of our mats for some sun salutations. I think we're ready. Woo! Okay, spongy legs. I love the feeling of spongy legs. Okay, so front of the mat. Feet about hip width apart. We'll start with some Saturday long and luxurious sun salutation. So pressing down your feet into the floor. Find the four corners of your feet rooting down. Roll to the outsides, the inside, spread your toes. Take a moment to feel your feet connect a little deeper into the mat. And then from that connection, start to lengthen all the way up and out to the crown of the head as we inhale, lift our arms up overhead, breathe. As we exhale, we'll start to slowly hinge from the hips and fold forward. As we slide our hands up to the shins, we'll take an extra breath here in our Ardha Uttanasana, just kind of imprinting it into our brain so that for the rest of the class as we come up into this, we feel like we've got that spot. So hips and ribs coming towards each other, head and tailbone reaching away, arms active, heart reaching through the head. As we exhale, take that length with you as you hinge forward. Your belly is going to come farther down your thighs as you do that and fold. Plant the hands, let's take that right leg back. And here, if you want to drop that knee to the floor, you can, you don't need to, as we sweep ourselves up into a lunge. Beautiful. Exhale, both hands are going to come to the floor, the hands touch down, the left leg comes back, we come into a plank pose. Let's hold our plank for a moment. Again, imprinting, pressing the hands down, melting the heart, reaching the heels back and feeling from the tailbone, the heels reaching back. All of a sudden, the legs just got really strong, huh? And then from think of the navel reaching the heart out through the crown of the head. Beautiful. And then roll yourself a little forward and slowly start to make your way down. You know your knees can touch the floor. Let's start with our arms wide and forward as we loop up into our first cobra, and we'll do this 2 more times. Exhale, back down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Last time. Slide the hands back as you press hands and knees into the floor. You'll make your way up. And your cow tilts all the way back into child's pose for just a breath. And then curling the toes under on your next exhale, you'll make your way up into downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths up here, let's set this pose. Hands about shoulder width apart, fingers spread apart equally. We press the floor away, we lift up and back through our hips. We draw the thighs back so that the heels start to come down. And then just take a moment in this pose to feel where you're overdoing the work and where other areas of the body can help, because this is a full body pose. Let's look forward. We'll take our right leg forward and drop that back beneath the floor if it feels okay, and sweep the arms up. Exhale, both hands are going to find the floor. We're going to take that back leg and bring it forward. Fold. Press down to the floor, roll up, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. And as you bring your hands to your heart again, feeling the weight of your body kind of sink into the floor and then lengthen up out of the floor. Let's do it again. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, we'll fold forward. Hands to the shins, lengthening into your flat backs. Hands to the mat. We'll take our left leg back this time. And again, you can drop the knee to the mat. Inhale, sweep yourself up. Exhale, hands find the floor. We just take 1 moment in our plank pose. And then we lower ourselves down, maybe into Chaturanga this time. Inhale, we'll roll ourselves up and through our cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And again, just each time we come back here, we have our experience of what we've done, and we're looking to find something new and delightful to kind of work into. Now, if you feel that this is a lot of work in the shoulders, can you drop the shoulders away from the ears and start to find something in that instead of the the work in the shoulders, can you find a spot that you want it to work? Like work in the arms, get them strong. Try to move the body around until you feel that you can find your biceps and triceps activating, because they do in this pose. And as you feel the collarbones widen and press the hands more, you'll feel, instead of the shoulders, you'll probably feel the arms. Inhale, we'll lift the heels up nice. No, we won't. Then we'll look forward, take the left leg forward. Drop the right knee to the mat. Inhale, sweep both arms up. Beautiful. Exhale, hands find the floor. We'll step the back leg forward and fold. Press down all the way up. We lengthen. Lift, palms together, hands to your heart. Heart up into the hands as you lift up a little higher. Release the hands. Exhale. And after our first sun salutations, just take a moment, feel the weight of your body kind of connected to the floor again, and lengthen up, and notice if you feel different. Okay, we'll see how we do after the second one. Inhale, look up, lift up, palms together. Exhale, we fold forward. Hands to the shins, lengthen. Hands to the mat. We'll take our left leg back this time, and this time we won't drop the knee to the floor unless you want to. Sweep up. Exhale, hands come down. Plant the hands, step back, you're in plank pose. Hold your plank for an inhale, lean yourself a little forward, move your way through a vinyasa. As we look forward, we're going to take our left leg forward. Inhale, sweep ourselves up. Exhale, both hands find the floor. We'll step the back leg forward and fold. Pressing into the floor, make your way up, arms overhead. And hands come down, slide through your heart. One more set, inhale up. Exhale, fold. Hands to shins, lengthen. Hands to floor, right leg back. Inhale, sweep up, hold. Okay, so finding a position here, hips are forward, pelvis trying to neutralize, so low back trying to become perpendicular to the floor, a challenge. So notice as I try to do that, back knee bends. That's my escape hatch. So that's fine, hugging the outer hips in. What I want to do here then is start to play with it a little bit. So I know that, there's a hold here, and I don't want to force anything, but I do want to see if I bend that front knee more and just kind of play a little bit between the front knee and the back heel. Does that help? Does that give me any ability to maybe go deeper or not? Not that where I am at the moment isn't fine, but it's just always nice to play. Lift that heart up just a little bit more. Exhale, both hands to the mat. Let's move through vinyasa. Look forward, take the right leg forward, sweep yourself up, high lunge. Hold. So we take a few moments just to resettle, to try to play around, and then just kind of be. What does being in this pose feel like to you? Does it give any emotions? Does it spark any thoughts in the head? Is it a trigger? Exhale, both hands find the floor. We're going to step the back leg forward. And we'll fold. Press down to the floor, lift up, arms overhead. Hands to your heart. Heart up into your hands as you inhale, keep the heart lifted, release your hands. How did you feel after the second? Do you feel grounded? Do you feel as grounded? Just always kind of paying attention to what physically we're doing to change this house we're living in. All right, let's go again. Inhale, look up. Arms up. Palms together. As we exhale, we'll hinge from the hips and fold forward. Touch the floor if you can. Now let's just take a moment here. We're going to spin our fingers to face backwards and bend the elbows. So the knees can bend a lot, and if you can't find the floor at all, like it's just too far, here, a couple of blocks will help tremendously. Okay. Release hands, slide the hands back, lengthen flat back. Bend your knees, plant the hands, make your way through Vinyasa. Let's walk our feet together. So we're going to take a look at our hands again, make sure that they are not overextended. Press the hands into the floor, drawing the upper arms back, upper outer arms back, sorry. Feel maybe the inner arms reaching towards the thumbs, rooting the index finger and thumb down a little bit more. We're going to take that right leg and lift it up. And as we reach that foot away from us, reach it away from your fingers and then try to level off your hips here. Then see if you can drop your left heel back towards the floor. Ooh, big stretch through the calf. Keep reaching that right leg up. See if your body feels level. Stay. As we inhale, we're going to come forward, rounding that upper back. Bring the knee towards the nose. And then inhale, we're going to sweep that leg all the way back up. And then bring it forward towards the center of your mat. Beautiful. Here, the back knee can drop to the floor. You're going to have both hands in front of that leg, so you can hold on to the mat, kind of pull it apart. Pull the legs towards each other. Back knee, of course, can lift up. And let's just, again, work the low back a little bit by karate chopping that front leg, pulling it back, and just rocking the hips from side to side. Excellent. And then coming back through center, we'll plant both hands again. We'll curl the toes under, the back toes curled under behind you. Sweep that leg all the way up. And then open that right hip up to the right, reaching that right foot over to the left. And as you're doing that, making sure that the shoulders are equally rooted into the floor. So we're not dumping our weight all into that left hand. Stretch that right leg straight. Oh, big, wonderful stretch here. And then we'll inner thigh, we'll spin that leg back through center and release that leg down towards the floor. Come forward into plank. Move through your vinyasa. Take that left leg and lift it up and back behind you. And taking that time to feel the body growing, feeling how we distribute the weight differently when one of our limbs that is usually on the floor is not participating, or participating otherly. As we inhale, we're going to come forward, nose, draw in, round in. Inhale, we'll sweep that leg all the way up and back. And then forward towards the center of the mat, where we may or may not drop that back knee to the floor, holding onto the edges of the mat, rolling to the outside of that left foot, karate chopping it back, and then just starting to rock a little bit from side to side. Excellent. As we come back through center, we'll plant the hands again. Press down to the floor, take that leg all the way up and back. We start to spin the left hip out to the left, making sure that both arms are equally rooting down. Press that foot out to the right as we drop the right heel back down towards the floor. Breathe. And start to stretch that left leg straight. And then inner thigh spins back through neutral. And we come back forward and through our vinyasa. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll lift the heels up nice and high as we inhale. Exhale, bend the knees. Make your way back to the front of the mat. Hands to the shins as we lengthen, flat back. Take all that length with you as you can hinge over the legs and fold. Take an extra breath or two here, just settling into this forward fold. So what can you do here as we stay for a moment in a pose that we usually just hold for a second? What does it feel like to be here? Is there anything that you can start to imagine that you can improve on to feel even better in your own skin? Beautiful. We're going to start to roll ourselves up. Stretch the arms up over the head, palms together. And we'll slide our hands down to the heart. Heart up into the hands as you inhale. Keep the heart lifted, release your hands. We're going to bring our toes together, heels together. We'll sit back into our Uttanasana. So I like to start by drawing the knees back first. So the knees kind of draw back, the hips draw back. We keep pulling the shins back. Notice here, there's not a big arch in my back. So I'm trying to lengthen the bottom ribs back too. And just reach the arms forward to begin. And then draw the shoulders back into the shoulder girdle as you reach the fingers up and away from the tailbone. Hold. Now, not pull, but draw the sides of the ribs back a little bit more. It'll be more comfortable. Sit a little bit more. Engage your glutes here. So you can squeeze your back a little bit. Just don't squeeze it so much that it feels like you're hurting your back. But letting your glutes hold you up is not such a bad thing. They're strong muscles. One more breath. Exhale, peel ourselves, fold over the front legs, or the front of the legs, fold forward. Hands come into the shins, lengthen. Make your way through a vinyasa. Let's take our right leg up and back, inhale. Sweep it towards that right thumb. We'll make our way up into a lunge. From here, we're going to put our weight into our left, what's our front leg. Press down. We'll lift the left leg up, the back leg. Now, if you find you're wobbling, see if you can slowly squeeze yourself back to neutral. And see how you can even imagine how you can root yourself down more from the inseam of that right leg down through the heel. Ooh. I'm not going to let that left foot touch the floor. Whatever it takes, I'm going to hug myself in. And then eventually, I'll find that footing. But until then, I'm not going to give up on myself. So keep going until you find one more breath. And then we're going to take the head forward and we'll reach that left leg back. Reach. Inseam presses the foot. You can rest your hands on your thigh, lengthen the crown of the head forward, breathe. Feel that outer left hip look down towards the floor. Reach the arms back if it feels okay. Bend that standing leg, keep going. Try to be parallel to the floor. And then touch that foot down, sweep up. High lunge. Exhale, both hands to the floor. Let's come into warrior one. So spin that back heel. Take your right hand, wrap it around the back side of the leg. Left arm comes forward. Keep that right knee bent as you start to draw the back of the heart back to the wall behind you. Pull, you'll feel both feet connecting into the earth as you release your right arm, palms together. Exhale to the floor. Through vinyasa. Downward dog. Left leg is going to come up and back, sweep. All the way forward towards the thumb, lift up, high lunge. And again, making your way as you push into the left leg. Draw in and stay. And notice, this is not easy. Notice how, the body responds. Does it try to lock the leg for control, which isn't really control? No. Can you find your way in without letting that foot come to the floor? All right. One last breath. And then we're going to reach the head forward and the heel back. Inseam of that right leg reaches back as the head reaches forward, away from the heel. Hands can stay at the heart, they can come onto your leg. They can also just reach back behind you, lengthening. Belly in, maybe sinking a little bit, squeezing the outer hips towards each other. And then reach that leg back a little bit more. Inhale, sweep yourself up, high lunge. Exhale, both hands are going to touch the floor. And we're going to come into warrior one. So back heel spins to the midline, although there's space between the heels. Left arm wraps around. Right arm grounds that right foot into the floor. The back of the heart draws up. And then we release the left arm, both palms together, and look up. Beautiful. Find the floor. Make your way through vinyasa. Downward dog. Breathe. And lift our heels up nice and high. Exhale, bend the knees, make your way to the front. Hands to the shins as we lengthen into our flat backs. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, sweep up, Uttanasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Beautiful, let's do one more set of sun two. Bend your knees, sweep up, Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to the shins as we lengthen, flat back. Hands to the mat, make your way through your vinyasa. Hold. Melt the heart. Again, from tailbone, reach out through heels. From belly, heart, reach out through head. Roll yourself to the front of the mat. We're coming down into our chaturanga at a count of 5. Elbows are reaching back, heart is reaching forward. Let's go 4, 3, upper outer arms back, 2, 1, hold. Hold, hold, press the floor away, lift yourself up, oh. And do that again, okay. Slowly coming down. Hold, hold, hold. This time, claw the mat, roll yourself up through upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Take that right leg, lift it all the way up and back. This time we're coming right into warrior one, so back heel can spin. And we can do it without the hands as we lift up. Exhale, fold back down. Go through vinyasa to the second side. Excellent. First side again. warrior two. Okay. Pull the legs towards each other. Reach the arms away. Close your eyes. Gaze forward. Stay. So again, as we stay in a pose, we kind of notice the areas that are overworking, right? Because they start to call out, they're like not comfortable after a while. So notice where that is and customize it to make sense for you. So when I'm in this pose, instead of looking for work up here, I'm always looking for this work here. And it's just about engaging where I can feel that sensation. I know that if I'm feeling it, then it's probably working it, right? Drop the back hand, we'll make our way up into Exalted Warrior. And as we exhale, we're going to take our hand onto the front thigh. Or if it feels okay, we're going to bring it down to the mat. But regardless of where the hand is, the trajectory of the body, it's from that back heel all the way out through the head, through the arm. So that's the pose, that's the length. Where this arm is, doesn't change it. So if I'm down here, but then it makes it impossible to get that arm up or the head up, then I'm too low. And I can come up here and find that. Pull the legs towards each other. As we inhale, we're going to come all the way back up into Exalted Warrior. So keep that front knee bent. Move from your side waist. Reach the left arm forward, right arm back. Beautiful. Let's press into the inseam of that right leg and press it straight. Beautiful. We're going to open our arms up and turn our feet to face wide angle five-pointed star facing the left edge of the mat. So as we stay here a moment in this relatively easy place, is there anything that you can do for yourself to make this work for you better? Beautiful. We're going to turn the heels in, drop the elbows, come into Goddess. And here, if you want, you can sink a little lower, pull the shins back. Feel your glutes engaged here. You can bring your fingers into Jnana Mudra. You can do whatever you want with your hands. Just make sure you feel like what you're doing is making a difference. All right, we're going to stretch straight. We're going to turn the heels out, fold forward. Now start to walk your hands wide, like way off your mat, coming into this outrageously wide downward facing dog. Plant the hands to the floor. Feel the outer arms reaching back, and then press the heels down and stretch. You can feel your heart melting, let the ears drop. Beautiful, and then start to walk your hands back a little bit, about halfway, and just start to get into that inner groin a little bit. Beautiful, we're going to go to that first side and just start to walk ourselves back to the front of the mat. Try to get your right arm around the right foot, so it'll look like this. So we're in a very weird kind of lizard pose. And sink a little bit more, reach the inner left thigh up, reach the right inner thigh in. Beautiful, and then lift up that right foot And see if you can swing it around and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, we'll come forward and move through vinyasa unless you're tired, and then don't come through a vinyasa. Left leg's gonna come forward. We're coming through our warrior one to begin. And then open up warrior two. So again, work your legs. Drop your arms a little bit, reach out from your heart through the fingers. Find ways to work the areas in your body that you want to work. Make sure the body feels safe while you're working. Drop the back hand, come into exalted warrior. And then reaching up and over, coming into your parsva. So either elbow to the knee, reaching the head away from the foot, and then the arm away from the foot, or coming down to the mat. Taking a few extra breaths here. Staying very in the body to see how you can help. Beautiful. Making your way back up. Keep that front knee bent. Right arm comes forward, left arm back. And then straighten that front leg. Open yourself up, five-pointed star. Press the heels in, drop, goddess. Press the forearms away. Pull the shins towards each other. Feel the tailbone reaching down. Sink. So when you are in a place that is not too comfortable, where does the mind go? That's really what this is all about, right? Can we stay present with what's not all that comfortable? Can we stay present with that feeling of sweat starting to come up on us? Yeah. Beautiful. Stretch everything straight. Spin the heels out, fold forward. So we're going to walk ourselves forward, come into a chaturanga here. Press out to the heels. If you want to come down, you can. Press the floor away from you, lift up. Bend again, and lift up. Last time. Excellent. Walk yourself back. Sit up and pull. To bend one knee, pull the other leg towards you. And the other leg. And then the first leg again. And the second. We're going to start to walk ourselves over towards that front leg. Take that left hand, wrap around the outside of the right leg, the outside of the left leg. Let's go. Lift that back leg up and lengthen and start to bend. So just a different version of lizard pose. Here you can lift that foot up. See if you can draw your belly in to slide that leg back. Reach it back, downward dog. Okay. So we're going to try something a little different this morning, and we'll show to you. You can come onto your knees for a second, or if you can. So I'll show you the one on the knees first, and then I'll show you the one that if you can't have your knees on the floor, you can do. It's just a little bit harder. So we're going to start in like a gate pose. Well, gate pose is here. So right leg out. I'm going to turn the toes and come forward. And just take that hand to the floor, same behind the right foot. Now shoulder and knee squeeze in towards each other. We can lift that arm up. You can start to inch that foot forward, grab hold of it, and draw it in. And then we want to see if we can hold the leg up without it being held. So that's how we do this with our knee on the floor. So you can just imagine without the knee on the floor a little bit more challenging. I'll show it to you. So second time, I'm coming back to do. So, without the foot on the floor. So we start off, bend and wrap around. Now here the legs are still pointing towards each other. As you inch that foot forward, shoulder and knee stay towards each other, we take that foot and we hold it. And then eventually we try to hold it without the arm. Ooh. Okay, so let's see you try to do So let's see it one more time. So whatever version you want to do with your knees on the floor or not, it's taking the right leg, drawing it forward. Taking that, let me turn it down a little bit. Taking the hand to the back of that foot. Right buttocks tucks under, so the knee and the shoulder connection, huge here. That right foot can start to move a little forward, lift the heel, and grab it. And that squeeze here, so cool. Yeah, that leg still squeezing, beautiful. And then release, and then come back. We'll try the second leg. So left leg comes out. We come down, take that hand behind, start to inch that foot forward, lift up the heel, grab hold of the heel, draw it in, squeeze. Hold, right arm up. Beautiful. Release. And come down, shake out the hips. Do you want to try the full version? I'll take hands in the air for the full version. Okay, yay, we got some troopers, love it. Okay, so, come up here. It's just easier to come up from a 5-pointed star position. We're going to turn out those right toes and come into like a parsva, basically. As you come low, the tailbone tucks under. So notice as that right tailbone tucks under, the left shoulder lines itself right up over the right one. Plant that right hand to the floor, you'll need it. And then start to inch it's the right foot forward. You may want to re-establish grounding through that back leg. And then lift up the toes, grab hold of the ankle, and draw that heel in. Right buttock tucks under, we lift up from here. The next thing, of course, is to let go of that leg and maybe stretch it forward. We're out to the side. Beautiful. Bring it back down. Plant. Release. Fold forward. Ha! Nobody expected this. I love that. So spinning to the second side. Left hand comes up. If you don't want to do this full version, keep doing the one with your knee on the floor. Don't just stop. Eventually, when you really get good at something easier, you want to try the more challenging. Pull the legs towards each other, inch that foot forward, hold. And then if you can, keep squeezing. Lift, and I fell down. And that's half the fun. Whew. Okay, child's pose. Little bit of child's pose. Take a nice big inhale. Wash away all that fun, all that craziness. Think of the effort that you put into something new. And then start to make your way up and into downward facing dog. Lift the heels up nice and high. Exhale, bend the knees, make your way to the front. Hold. Inhale all the way up, arms overhead. And hands to your heart. Excellent. Okay. It's Saturday, doing some strange things today. So we have balance time. So I'm going to show you, regular balance that we usually do that you're more than welcome to do, which is either with your tie or without your tie. We're going to come into what we did on the ground. And pull. Pull that heel back. So instead of the hip going forward, we're drawing it back. Both inner thighs spit back. Head, shoulders, ears right on top of the heel, correct? All right, so you can try that. Or we could also try what we just did on the ground, standing. And I usually do this with a block because it's easier, so I'm going to place my foot on the block. I'm going to come down, and instead of grabbing hold of the foot, actually let's just grab hold of the foot today. So wrapping my arm around, holding onto the heel, left hand to the hip, that's helping root that left heel down, belly in, and lift up. It's not that hard, no? And then notice you can slide that foot around. You can draw it in. You can even bring it into half lotus. Now see if you can, as you squeeze that ankle into the hip, squeeze the hip back into the ankle, does it stay? And again, we may wobble, we may waver, but we keep coming back to this idea of trying to find stillness or equanimity or harmony. Beautiful. Lift that leg back up, give it a hug, and release it down. Plant it. So again, you can do the tie stretch here, or you can move the block to the second spot. Place the foot up. Softening through that standing leg, we're coming down. Shoulder comes underneath, we're holding onto the foot. And here, it's one of the tricks that I've learned here. This knee, if you lift it with the body, it's lighter. If you just let the arm lift the leg, it's heavy. So you're holding onto the heel and the knee lifts up. And we hug it in. And we just keep going, drawing the heel in. And maybe the knee drops down. Then we press the thigh into the knee into the thigh for half lotus tree pose. My knee keeps falling over, so my hips are not as loose as they used to be. That's fine. We want really, if we can, the knee facing the floor as we squeeze in, but as you can see, it's not working. Let's take that leg back up and release everything. And then just work on the hips. Just a little fun for a Saturday morning now, just to make that fun feel really good. Wide legs. You may want to have a block behind you to sit on as we come to a squat. So Malasana, the nice thing about Malasana is you can sit and still get the benefits of the thigh bones seeping deeply into your hips. And you can kind of fold forward here. Let the back of the neck be long, press the knees away. And for those of you that like to come up into crow, you can just start to roll yourself forward and peel your legs off the floor as you come up. And you don't have to. This should be an enjoyable practice for all of us. Excellent. And then if you have a block behind you, move the block And we'll come to seated. Shake out the legs. How are we all doing? Good, okay. Okay, that was the hard part. See, again, with the challenging moments, we just want to see where our minds go. We want to see if we become defeatist, if we become like, ooh, this is kind of cool, even if I can't do it, it's something new and exciting, you know. Be mindful of where the mind goes when it's confronted with something that it doesn't want to do. All right, coming into, let's try it in this position. So if lotus bothers you, bothers the knees, you can come into Janu. It's basically the same pose. If your knee is high up in Janu, just rest it on something. So when you allow it to rest, the hip doesn't feel like it's grasping, and it also starts to make everything feel better. Some of the triggers just release. But if you are in half lotus pose, the pinky toe side of the foot is trying to find that crease, and we can fold forward. Press the left heel into the floor, draw back. See if you can feel as you do that, the low back kind of reaching a little bit more forward. Back of the neck long. Beautiful. We're going to inhale, come back up. We're going to take our left hand to the right knee, wherever that may be. Right hand behind you, helping you sit up taller and just spin. For those that find it easy to bind here, it's a nice little shoulder bind. You can take your right hand, the one behind you, wrap it around the body and see if you can grab hold of the foot. Make sure the shoulder is deeply in the shoulder girdle as you lengthen up, and then look over your front shoulder for a nice little neck twist. Beautiful. We're going to release the foot if you have it. Come all the way back forward, grab hold of that right foot, and just stretch it all the way up. You can hold on to the back of the leg here. You can hold on to the ankle or the foot. Wherever you're holding on to, imagine the foot is trying to escape, and you are drawing it back towards you, and see how that lifts your heart up a little bit more. Beautiful. We'll release that. Just do a little bit of knee drop back and forth, a little locomotive. Beautiful. And then we can release that. Shake out the legs. And we'll do the second side. So left leg's gonna lift up, and either it's coming into Janu or it's coming into half lotus. And karate chop the foot. Try to get that knee, well, don't try to do anything with the knee. Let the knee be whatever it is. If it is up high, just let it soften, like relax it, it's fine. Okay, from here, we're gonna start to fold forward. Press the right heel into the floor. Reach the heart forward. So with this one for me, I always get, because one of the things about having your foot in this position is it's hitting other trigger points in your quad. So if you're finding that, it is a good thing to kind of be with the sensation. And if the sensation, you know, if you know that you're on a trigger point, but it's doable, can you stay there with that sensation until it starts to release a little bit? Breathe. Inhale, we'll come back up. Take our right hand to the left knee, left hand can come behind you, sitting you up, propping you up taller, and adding you to the spin, or you can take that left hand to the left foot, lengthen, and then look over your front shoulder. Keep the right foot still active, rooting it down and back towards you, breathe. Beautiful, and then to release, nice and slowly, bring that leg up, give it a hug. hold on to it, and reach it up towards the sky. Again, the heart is trying to reach up with that foot. They're both trying to fly away, but the hand is drawing the foot back towards the heart. Beautiful. And then you can do a little back and forth. Excellent. And then let's bring the feet together. We'll sit up nice and tall. One last little balance here, just for a little fun. It is a balance. You may roll back on your back, so just look behind you, make sure there's nothing there, and if you're kind of scared, just place a bolster behind you, pretty close up. Keep it behind your butt so that if you do, it's propping you up to begin with. And then we're going to take hold on to our big toe mounds, keep the low back lifted up nice and high, reach the right leg up. Keep that heart lifted. Reach that foot away. Notice the difference between the foot just kind of hanging and then that foot being active, reaching away. Beautiful. Bring that foot back down. Switch to the other side. Lift. Heart lifts. Bring it back down. You can do one leg at a time again, or you can try both legs, which really encourages you to lift that low back in and up, and lift the heart up to lift the heels up. And then from here, reach that heart up, look up. Reach out to the inseam of both heels, lengthen. And then see if it's possible to lift the arms. Beautiful. Cross the legs, fold forward, move through a vinyasa. Yep, one last vinyasa, guys. And then right to lying down. And here, notice, so here's how we started. And as you release now, as you take a nice big exhale, I'm sure it's very easy for you to feel that sensation of dropping the energy into the earth. So amazing. That's so cool. I find it just amazing that you can just bring your intention into action. And as you take a few breaths before we move up into a back bend here, is there anything that as you start to release the body that is still holding? And if that's the case, is there anything that you can do physically that'll take away some of that sensation? And I know you know that there is. Like, intuitively, I know that the body will say to you, okay, just bring the knees up. That'll stretch out the back a little bit. So we're going to take a wide stance back bend today. So take your feet as wide as your shoulders, if not a little wider. And hold on to your ankles. That allows you to get the holding on to your ankles if possible. And just plant your feet and try to have your feet so that the big toes are facing forward, not out to the side. Okay, so that's going to keep your hips kind of in a neutral position as opposed to wider. So we want the outer hips to be facing the front of the mat. We'll start by just opening up the upper back so you can pull the mat apart here, and that's going to lift your chest up. Or you can just bend the elbows and lift the chest up, whatever makes more sense to you. Try to roll the shoulders under, which I think that pulling the mat apart does give you a better feeling of that. And then grab your ankles. And you don't have to hold on to your ankles, your hands can be around the feet. We're going to press the elbows, the upper arms, the shoulders into the floor, keeping that upper back off the mat. And then just press into the feet, lifting the hips up. Move slow, see what it feels like. If you find a spot that feels tight, don't bully through it, stay there, play a little bit. So right now, I'm feeling a little bit here, and instead of just forcing myself up, I'm staying a little lower to see if I can coax the body into feeling better. And look at that. For today, for me, that worked. And as I press the back of the head into the floor, lifting the chin up, I'm reaching the heart towards that chin. And I'm feeling the outer hips hug together, lift up a little higher than the inner hips. So there's a softness in my inner groin. Make sure the the neck is not on the floor, so keep looking up towards the ceiling. Even as the chin comes closer towards as the chest comes closer to the chin keeps backing away. And then take 2 more deep breaths in this big back bend. And then slowly release back down. And just drop the knees together. Can we let the arms slide wide? And then we'll come up one more time. And you can come up the same way, or if you have another bridge you want to do, if you want to come into wheel pose, walk your feet together, stretch your arms up, plant the palms on the floor beside your ears, fingertips facing your heels. Elbows kind of hug, so I always bring my elbows slightly in because they want to wing out, and I want to try to keep a hollowness in my underarms. And then as I press into my feet and hands, I just come and roll onto the top of my head. I will readjust my hands a little closer to my head, but not still wide. Keep the elbows hugging as I press down again and lift us up. And then try to drop the feet back down to the floor as I press my arms away and reach my heart forward towards the front of my mat. And breathe. Make sure you're breathing. Slowly coming back down. Reach the arms up, drop the knees together. Be with the sensations that your second back bend provided for you. And if you have one more in you, do one last back bend, whatever you want. And stay with whatever back bend you have for a couple of breaths, feeling how the body is different in this shape. What's different about it? Let the brain work a little bit. What shows up? And then when you're ready to come back down, draw the low back towards the floor, press the left foot into the floor, draw the right knee to your chest. You can press the left foot into the floor, draw the right knee in a little bit more, and then switch that. And then you can draw both knees in, draw them in. You can start to wiggle a little bit on your sacrum. You can roll your head up, reaching your heart towards the knees towards the heart. You can start to reach your hands forward, grab hold of your ankles. And then lift your feet up as you roll back and into baby, happy baby. Took me a bit. Here, as the tailbone and the head reach away, we drop the shoulders to the earth. Feel the shoulders drop down towards the floor as the knees also start to drop down towards the floor. Rock around a little bit from side to side. And drop the feet to the floor as you just start to windshield wiper a little bit more from side to side. Excellent. So you have choices now. There's lots of different things you can do. You can come into, oh, that's loud. So you can bring your hands back behind you and give your neck a little massage. You can roll your head up. You can come into fish pose. So I know some of you don't like fish pose. So again, it's one of those things they say if you really dislike it, you should do it, but some of you do have neck issues and I wouldn't recommend it. So, you can just sit up and see how a tie feels on the back, on the neck. Just kind of reaching down and slightly moving away, so being gentle. That works. But I'm a big lover of fish, so that's where I'm gonna head for about 3 breaths, 4 breaths. Hands are gonna squeeze the thighs, elbows press down, roll to the top of the head. Stretch the neck long, bring your lower lip over your upper lip. Beautiful. And then slowly rolling back down, head to the ground and release the arms. Now, if there are any last poses that you want to do, let's say you want to draw the knees into the chest one more time, you can. If you want to add one more little hip stretch, you can come into thread the needle. Move to the second side and thread the needle. And then both knees in again. Let's add a little twist too. So dropping the left foot to the floor. Press down to the left foot and just shift your hips over to the right about 1 inch or 2 and slide that left leg straight. Holding on to the right knee with the left hand, just start to roll it over towards the left. And here you can either rest it on something. So I have a bolster right here that I can really kind of feel it connect to the bolster and lengthen up and around it, feeling that spiral moving through my body. Sacrum is pretty flat, and that's why as I move my hips out as we move our hips out, it straightens the sacrum a little bit. Twist will feel more in the belly and the upper back. Beautiful. Draw that knee back into the chest, roll yourself back to center, and here a little bit of side back and forth. Noticing how that low back feels, how the thigh bone feels in the hip socket. We'll plant that right foot to the floor. We're going to lift our hips up through center over to the left about 1 inch or 2 as we take that left knee in, slide the right leg straight. Just taking my bolster over to the side. And take that knee, roll it all the way over onto that bolster. Then lengthen out through the right foot, out through the crown of the head as I spin the chest open to the left. going to bring the leg back up, plant it to the floor, bring both feet up, move your hips back through center, draw the knees to your chest. Now we'll sit up, we'll do a little meditation before we have our Shavasana. Now, if you are finished and you just want to come into Shavasana, feel free. But, you know, we did take some time to kind of sit and stay in spots, which is really what meditation is. And also, since we did so much work in our low back and hips, it's nice to be able to enjoy the seated position comfortably. So whatever works for you, take your inner thighs and you can create a little bit more space down there. And then let the ears roll back as the heart opens up. And just find a nice straight spine. Feel the connection you have to the floor and lengthen up and away. And then keep lengthening until you find lots of space, and then see if you can keep the space and just release the effort. And you'll drop a little bit, that's fine. Feel the collarbones widen a little bit so that you can get even more breath up into that upper respiratory area. Just bring your awareness to this physical being breathing right now, this you. Feel yourself breathing. Be aware that you're feeling yourself breathe. And then start to recognize that there's two components here. There's the awareness that you are sitting here breathing, and there's the you sitting here breathing. And if you can separate those two just a little bit more, can you see this physical being breathing from this place of awareness? Can you start to make out the shape of you? Perhaps pointing out spots in your shape that could benefit from a little tweaking in positioning. When you look at this breathing shape, how do you look at it? With compassion, with love, with criticism? Can you actually separate the two? Before we make our way, if you are not already in Shavasana, just take a moment and send love and compassion to this breathing being that is doing the best they can. Whenever you're ready to make your way into Shavasana, feel free.
sailing to the sea. On our heels, sailors cry. Smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the sea. When that fork I will be coming home. And when the fork I want to hear you. I don't have to fear now. Just say so. Just like way back in the days of old. There we never said we would go. Yeah, till this day. When that fork you know I would.
Today's daily Om is called Color Therapy. The wondrous displays of color that define the world around us are manifestations of light, and as such, each possesses a unique frequency. The attraction we feel to certain colors is not a matter of pure choice. We experience the beneficial effects of colors even while blindfolded. We are naturally drawn to those colors that lift our mood, expand our consciousness, and restore health. Color therapy, also known as chromotherapy, allows us to harness the power of individual color frequencies to heal the body, positively influence our emotions, and achieve a renewed sense of inner harmony through sympathetic resonance. Colors do not directly affect the composition of our physical, mental, or aura, but they non-evasively alter the vibrational characteristics of diverse elements of the self so that each resonates at its proper healthy frequency. It's easy to overlook the colors that saturate our personal and professional environments. Yet these, whether in the form of the paint on the walls or the clothing we wear, can influence our thoughts, behaviors, and feelings to an extraordinary degree. The colors we like best are often those that we need most in our lives, and there are many ways we can utilize them. Basking under a colored light bulb or gazing at an area of color can stimulate or calm us depending on the color we've chosen. For example, red stimulates the brain, circulatory systems, and first chakra, giving us an energy boost, while blue acts on the throat chakra, soothing the body and mind. And when we don't feel drawn to any one color, we can still benefit from the healing effects of white light, which is an amalgamation of all the colors of the visible spectrum. It's a cleansing color, one that can purify us on many levels. Human beings evolved to delight in vivid sunsets and rainbows, to enjoy the sensations awakened by particularly eye-catching colors, and to decorate our spaces and ourselves with bright colors. In essence, we evolved to love the light because of its harmonizing influence on every aspect of the self. When we pay attention to the potential effects of individual colors, we can modify our spaces, our wardrobes, and habits to ensure that we introduce the colors that speak to us most deeply in our everyday lives. So we can begin to deepen our breaths. As the energy starts to move through and down through our arms and our legs, you can encourage the movement by wiggling your fingers and your toes. Stretch on. Take your time with this. kept you a little longer than usual, but it's Saturday. Sorry. When you're ready, take a bit of time on your side. Settle in here and notice what those extra 15 minutes of practice did. Look at how you feel even 15% better. Such an awesome time. Enjoy this. When you feel ready to make your way up to seated, do so. Sit up nice and tall. I invite you to unplug or unmute yourself so we can end our practice together. Just turn down your music. Bring our hands to our hearts. Here I am. Hearts up to the hands. And take a moment to just thank yourself for your practice. Thank yourself for this time that you spent on yourself, your body, your mind, your presence. Well, thank this beautiful community of ours that kept us going even when it became a little bit more challenging. We'll end the practice with the sound of one Om. So we'll take a nice big inhale. Big exhale through the mouth. Inhaling to Om. That sound, that reverberation, that vibration connect you a little bit more to the floor as a reminder that our heads or our thoughts should always be filtered through our hearts. Or with love, we'll bring our hands to our head and back to our hearts where they belong. Namaste.
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 Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.